Welcome to the Lovecraft tapes, a real play Call of Cthulhu RPG campaign from the 70s. I'm kidding. I'm not Stephen Wright, actually.
We believed you.
For a minute there. All right, welcome to the Lovecraft tapes, a real play Call of Cthulhu RPG campaign using Roll20.net. I am your keeper of arcane lore, Jeremy Boomstick Johnson. You always laugh, and I love it. Your investigators of the unknown are Brian Johnson as Samantha Sam Brewster.
Hi, everybody.
Finger guns. George Gallagher as Chuck Blaine.
I am your keeper of arcane lore, Jeremy Boomstick Johnson. Tonight, I run the show.
And Matt Zealish as Daniel Williams.
You know what? I really feel like we're all a little bit of a lore keeper right here in our hearts. You just keep it right there, people.
Yeah, can I have my heart back, please?
No, you can't.
Hearts of Fire.
You could borrow it for one day.
Yeah, that's it. All right. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Feeling good?
Very well.
Pretty bad.
Splendid.
Anybody eating and drinking anything weird? I'm just doing water right now.
Yeah, I'm just doing water.
Dihydrogen monoxide.
Pellegrino.
With a little bit of lime. Just for fun. All right.
Put it in a glass.
Careful there, you wild, crazy person. Lime in the water. What's next?
Coconut?
All right. Coconut water? No. Coconut water? That's crazy talk. All right. So before we begin our story, we need to take a quick commercial break. And we're back.
Oh, geez, that dragged on forever.
I loved it.
Sorry.
I love
But
that product.
that's how we pay the
Happy they
bills.
sponsored us.
That's how we pay the bills,
I
guys.
love insert sponsor here's product.
Or services.
Or services. All right, so let's talk about the story so far. This is episode 13 of Chapter 2, Dark Angelus, and I believe this is part 4 of Dark Angelus.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. This is actually part 5, I think. So, good stuff. Matt, can you tell us what happened in the last episode?
Well, last episode, we discovered a very interesting flyer for some very culty-like thing called the Church of Night, run by one Xander Lenoir, who is apparently spelled with a Z and not an X. So, Daniel split off to City Hall to see if he could figure out if that was Xander's real name, while the other two members went and scouted the exterior of the Church of Night, where they saw a very large dog consume a pigeon, for which many New Yorkers would be happy. And while nothing came of that, nothing really came out of Dan's investigation either, other than a little bit of information about the property the church currently sits on. And then they just decided what the heck and went over for the little ceremony that was happening at midnight. Chuck and Sam decided to go in, and Dan is going to sit on the exterior in the Chuck wagon for a quick escape.
All right. That's about
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks.
He's a trooper.
And good night.
And good night. Good night, trooper.
I'm sorry, you're all out of maple syrup.
All right. So now we continue. Episode 13, Chapter 2, Dark Angelus.
In 3D.
In 3D! Now in stereoscopic.
Last time I tried that, we killed several people, remember?
In sense around.
Not according to our lawyers, Matt.
Oh, sorry.
Nobody knows about that anymore.
All
right.
Recorded it for the podcast, so you could technically go back and listen to it, but
As Daniel...
Wait, this isn't Snapchat?
As Tinder.
Oh,
Grinder. Oh, jinx.
Gross. As Daniel awaits in the car at midnight, Sam and Chuck are mingling with a group of dark-clothed individuals standing on the stoop of the Church of Night at 1161 West 27th Street. And these people are sort of cloaked in darkness, but as the front door swings open and a figure intones, "All those who would learn the secrets of the night, enter." And he beckons people into the house. The gaggle of interesting people awaiting on the doorstep are sort of giggling a little bit and sort of shuffling nervously, and they crush out cigarettes, and then they shuffle forward into the blackness of the house.
What do you do?
Sam and Chuck, what do you do?
Well, should we head in?
Probably. This would be a big waste of time if we don't.
All right, let's go to the car.
Line simulator.
I vote for a big waste of time.
All
We're
right,
called
we head
line
up.
enthusiasts. We go wait in line at places. And then
We love to queue it up.
Cedar Point is the best.
All right, let's head in, boss.
Okay.
All right. So you shuffle in behind this group of interesting people, and you are the last in the line, and the door is shut behind you, and it's pretty much completely dark inside. There are no lights, and you hear somebody sort of brush up against the wall and a sort of exclamation. Then you hear another person bump into another person. So, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" And then someone coughs, and then suddenly up to the left, up ahead to the left, you see a very dim light, and you see through the group of people, their shadows, that the guide who opened the door initially and let you guys in is now opened another door at the long end of a hall into a dimly lit room. And
I wasn't aware this was a My Chemical Romance concert.
Where are the glow sticks?
Where are the
I took some LSD earlier. Should I not have done
I thought
that?
we were at Zap Zone.
Everything's a glow stick now. And the crowd in front of you shuffles sort of nervously ahead.
Let's go with the flow.
Yo.
I put my hand out and reach for Chuck's hand, try to find his hand. Whose is it, Chuck?
Go there, Sam.
I don't want to
his, but
be.
it's not his
I don't
hand.
want to be separated from him in this situation.
That's so cute. I'm not interested.
Nice.
You're
Nice.
Too old, Grandpa.
Anyway,
Okay, so
forward.
the group shuffles into, and you can see as you come up, bringing up the rear, as Chuck likes to do, there is a large parlor ahead. And you can see that there's a lacquered coffin on low brass legs, which serves as a coffee table, upon which are
A coffin table.
a coffin table,
Sorry.
upon which are assorted refreshments.
Assorted freshmen. What kind of party is this?
Well, they
Oh,
all
it
line
says-
up and you spank them. So it's a hazing. There are bookshelves along one wall filled with what appear to be giant tomes, leatherback books. There is, looks like there's stuffed animals around. There's like a stuffed snake, gigantic sort of anaconda kind of thing.
So we're like inside a
Football.
claw game, is what you're telling me.
Yes, exactly. There is a full-size King Tutankhamun sarcophagus leaning against one wall, and it sort of appears to be staring at you. And in the corner, there's a stuffed raven glaring from his perch, and the room is lit by wall sconces shaped like medieval gargoyles holding aloft flickering electric candles. The walls are all painted black, and they soak up what little illumination is coming from the sconces. And as you enter, the doors softly shut behind you almost automatically, and you see the gentleman who gave you entrance has now produced a silver tray, which he passes along to each of the guests. And you see clearly people digging into their wallets and putting $10 bills
Hiding.
on the silver plate.
Okay, I'm going to take all of the $10 bills on the plate when it gets to me.
And then you're going to say, for Jesus, as you stick the money in your hand.
Yep, I am Jesus. Umami Jesus.
So the tray soon comes to you.
I reach in and put a $5 bill on.
That's for me too. That covers me too.
You earn a frown.
Yay, we did it.
The host taps the tray.
I look at Chuck and nod my head towards the tray.
I'll give you $10.
You don't pay me, cheap ass.
And you
turn my credit rating down.
There's there is a young lady who appears like she's sort of kind of dowdy, sort of clean cut, all American looking, but sort of dowdy. Okay. And she leans over towards you. She says, "It's $10 each."
Fine. We should really start charging people for this investigation stuff. I don't see a longevity here.
And Sam?
Yes.
You recognize her immediately.
Katie, what are you doing here?
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
Trollop.
What's a twist? Damn it, Shyamalan, stay out of this.
This is Clark Richards, and she is. Oh, you know what? I'm in the wrong thing. Sorry. Let me start that over. No. This is her name is Sarah Wider, and she is the heiress to a fortune in plastics manufacturing. You recognize her immediately from trade publications and sort of business papers and that sort of thing. But she is sort of like a dowdy kind of middle-aged person. Very strange that she would be showing up here.
Miss Wider? Is that your name?
She kind of blushes a little bit and she's like, yes, but this is not the time.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You should be.
Chuck, did you put the money on the tray?
And she sort of shuffles away from you, slightly embarrassed.
Hey, isn't that Miss Narrower over there? Next to Miss Averager?
Narrower and wider. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, but
all right, so I assume you produce the requisite entrance fee?
Yes.
Reluctantly.
He had to drop his credit rating to 38.
As soon as the
cover charge,
the money is deposited onto the tray, cover charge. Let me see here. Sorry. Okay. The gentleman hooded figure takes the tray back and sets it up on a high shelf, and then goes over to the Tutankhamun sarcophagus and raps on it dramatically, sort of like this.
Oh, so he wasn't dropping some fat beats.
That's what I was thinking.
PHAT.
Not so much. Oh, not like rapping it. Oh.
No, he was covering it in wrapping paper.
It was perfect.
At this point, the front of the sarcophagus swings outward, revealing a concealed doorway to an adjoining room. And the cowled figure says, "Enter ye now into the inner sanctum of the Church of Night." And then he turns and walks through the sarcophagus into a room beyond.
What the hell?
I don't know if Miss Wider's going to fit through that narrow gap.
George, don't make fun of people's weight.
So, nice. So, the attendees sort of grab some drinks from the coffin table, and then wander into the antechamber beyond the sarcophagus.
An inner sanctum.
What would you like to do?
I'm going to go check and see what they have for hors d'oeuvres and drinks.
It appears to be just some wine, red wine.
Mm-hmm. No food?
No, there's no food, actually.
Bastards.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, I'll grab a glass of wine and I'll look at...
Yeah, there's white and red wine. There does appear to be a bottle of some middle row scotch, so nothing really too expensive.
Okay.
I mean, if we took the whole bottle, it would be expensive.
I'll pour Chuck a glass of scotch and I'll grab a glass of wine.
All right.
And offer it to Chuck, who gracefully takes it.
I guess I'll accept it.
For the $10.
That's right.
Do you drink it?
Ooh, that's an interesting question.
I do.
It's not bad. You said you got red wine, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's
Cabernet.
a little on the watery side. Probably a Chianti of some sort.
With some fava beans?
Well, you know, they get it from the Italian restaurants in town.
Oh, those Italians?
I'm not going to drink it, actually.
They had it shipped in express from Yorba Linda.
Okay, so are you going to pretend to drink it?
Chuck?
Chucky?
No, I'll just hold it.
Okay.
Swirl it around in the glass and throw it over your shoulder when no one's looking.
Cheers.
All right.
Is there a potted plant?
I was just thinking that.
So the rest of the folks appear to have gone through the entryway.
Should we go in,
the other room.
sir? Should probably not call you sir
yeah.
here, but that's okay.
Better than ma'am, but anyway, yeah, let's go.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's going first?
I'll go in first.
Okay.
I'll watch her go in.
Hey, eyes are up here, buddy.
Looky.
Try to roll for gawking.
All right. So as you pass through, Sam, you're sort of sipping your wine and getting ready to wander into the next antechamber when you notice the stuffed snake lick its lips.
What the fudge crackers?
Why don't you give me a sanity roll?
Because he doesn't want to.
Roll at night. Don't screw it up, Brian.
Too late.
Pressure.
First roll of the night.
Pressure.
Where's the sanity roll at?
It is below characteristics. And above
Daniel, where did you
magic
get that
points.
nickname, Riding Brenda All Day? I don't recall the origin of that one.
Oh,
I don't
see.
either.
Oh, that's your motorcycle, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Sanity roll. You failed your sanity roll. Yep. So you are shocked. So what happens is you take 1 sanity point off.
Okay.
Okay. So you can reduce your sanity by 1.
Indefinitely or temporary?
You don't have to check any of those boxes. Just
You're not
reduce it by
insane.
1.
You just lost a sanity point.
No, it says
Yes.
I have hell against
Reduce that by 1.
psychoanalysis and psychology, which have literally never been used, so I could probably regain some of that sanity for you.
And how does he
Yeah.
feel, Fraulein?
How does the snake lick its lips?
We just need to find a couch somewhere.
Why do you hate your mother? So what happens is the snake licks its lips at you, and you are startled. You bump back into Chuck. He promptly spills his drink, and you also spill your red wine all over your front of your dress.
I'm very lucky that I wore a red dress today.
That's true. That is very lucky. Yes.
The same shade of this wine. And I leaned over to Chuck and whisper, "Don't drink or eat anything here. There's something."
I didn't. That's right, I didn't. Because I'm smarter than you, girl.
I need you to watch me because I did.
Okay, walk in front of me.
You pervert.
I resent that.
All right, I'm heading in. I set the glass down first on the coffin table.
The snake starts to move.
Just walking through. Just ignoring and walking through.
Okay. You duck up underneath and sort of rush through the sarcophagus opening. Chuck, what are you doing?
Following her and definitely not staring.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, that would be rude to stare at the snake, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's what I was talking about.
All right. So, yeah, you guys both enter into the quote-unquote inner sanctum. So beyond, you see the rest of the folks sort of looking at you curiously as you enter in with, Chuck's got a little bit of scotch spilled on his trousers. And obviously,
That's urine.
Obviously, Sam has red wine just spilled all the way down. Sarah Whiter does sort of rush up with a napkin and tries to help Sam blot up a bit. She says there's some white wine on there, so it should come out.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
So now what do we do? We've never been here before.
I know what it's like to spill wine.
Is that a euphemism?
It's a euthanism.
Is that you?
Spill the blood of wine. No, I mean
That's what the kids are calling it nowadays.
well, now we just wait. We wait for Xander. So in the chamber proper, you can now see Chuck, especially since you're not engaged in conversation yet with anyone. And you do see the chamber is kind of decorated much the same as the parlor that you were in before. There's a human skull inked with phrenological annotations. Do everybody know what phrenology is?
Phrenological annotations.
Yes. You know what phrenology is, right?
Yes, it's what people annotate.
It's the pseudoscience of being able to read characteristics about a person just by touching their head and feeling the indentations and things like that.
That's not
Technology?
pseudoscience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for real.
That's like astrology. That shit is real.
It's much like
I am for real.
it's much like you can tell, who might be a good president by the size of their tiny hands.
Too soon.
Snap. Okay. So there's also a tarantula under a glass, which you assume is stuffed, Chuck. In one corner, there is a 5-foot-tall Easter Island moa sculpted head. There are... I'm getting a lot of feedback. Where's that come from? Oh, sorry. There is swords, knives, and cast resin gargoyles mounted to dark wood-paneled walls, statuettes and icons of demonic entities cluttering surface spaces. The windows are shuttered and completely obscured by heavy black velvet drapes. There are a few flickering low-watt bulbs set into wall sconces, which are crafted to appear as leering demons, with amber light spilling from their eyes and mouths.
Yes, Larry Demon.
As if the glow of hell itself illumines the room. There's a large black draped altar covered in silvered sigils, zodiac signs, which dominate the far end of the room. Upon the altar, Chuck, reclines a very pretty and very naked woman.
Your mom. Oh.
What about me?
Snap.
Why'd you say Chuck? Oh, he's the one looking around. Never mind.
Yeah. Damn it, Sam.
And so the rest of the people are sort of milling about, and there's a gentleman who is actually chatting with the naked young woman.
Is that gentleman me?
You tell me?
Should be. I would say we should just kind of sit back and observe.
You're not going to ask her if she wants to go spill some wine later?
Later, not now. I think that's the best plan. I think we should just kind of sit back and not get caught up in anything and just try to take everything in.
That's boring, though.
Excuse me,
Oh,
sir.
then we should pull out a gun and shoot everybody.
Sir, can I ask you a quick question before we go any further?
I suppose.
Do you see the dancing hippos too?
Did you see the snake in the last room? Moving?
Moving? No.
Okay.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
That's what I was
Oh,
wondering,
yes, I
because you
did.
didn't make it clear if I took a drink and then I saw the snake move.
That's what I thought.
Okay. Nope.
Anyway,
it's
yes, I
it's
totally
alive. Okay.
I was just kidding.
All right. I just wanted to clear that up before we go any further, so
Maybe
George doesn't think
animatronics.
I'm crazy.
That's my first thought, is these guys have some connections at Disney for some really nice animatronics.
No, I was thinking Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh,
I was thinking of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Hey.
Ever suck my cheese.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner,
winner.
ladies and gentlemen.
So anyway,
So anyways, yes, do something.
Ask her if she wants to spill some wine.
let's go eavesdrop
I
on the
believe Sam
conversation
had
with the girl.
Say again, I'm sorry?
I think we should eavesdrop on the conversation with the girl, because she's the only person in the room we know that is like sort of not an employee, but, you know,
She was there to begin with.
associated with the group, right?
Yep.
So that's what Chuck is doing. What is Sam doing?
I'm going to just stick kind of close to Sarah and see if I can glean any
You're
information
a cheating whore.
from her. Not cheating.
Not yet.
Not at
Well,
all.
you'll both
Never.
have to initiate it. I'm not going to spoon feed you,
All right,
Okay.
I'm rolling for listening.
and you don't have to roll. Just role play.
Oh, well then I'm listening.
Wow. So engaging.
You go
So
first, George.
you see a man in a fedora hat.
Milady.
You don't recognize him at all, and he is. He is. He appears to be asking the young lady, "So, where is your mother? Does she know you're doing this?" And the girl just sort of laughs and eats some grapes.
Oh, is this a
Oh, I'll do
drama?
what I want now. My mom's back in Oklahoma.
Where the wind goes sweeping down the plains.
Well, I don't think your mother would approve of this sort of thing. But at the same time, Chuck, he appears to be pretty much leering at her body.
Yeah.
Sam,
Yes.
talk to me, baby.
Hey. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah, do you mind if,
And she's drinking some white wine.
do you know where I can get another glass of wine? I spilt mine, obviously.
I'm sorry. I'm so rude. What was your name again?
My name is Samantha. You can call me
Samantha.
Sam.
Where do I know you from? I don't recognize you. You don't go among our circles, do you?
No, this is our first time here.
Oh, well, you are going to love it. Xander is quite the man.
What can I expect?
Well, I think it's taken me a little while and, many a donation to get this far, but, now I'm able to come and go to the church every Friday night and learn his teachings.
Ooh, very exciting.
Zip.
What sort of things do you learn?
Well, it's sort of secret. I don't want to ruin any surprises for you.
Yeah, no.
But, Xander is, I will say, he's my personal guide to the midnight world of the occult.
Sounds so exciting.
Well, I sort of graduated from tea leaf readings and tarot cards, and, it's led me here. I think there's more to learn.
Have you ever done like palm readings or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. I've done all that. I don't do it myself, but I participate in it, and I firmly believe in it. course. Have you had your palms read?
Yes, I did one time.
Were you painting a barn or something?
Yeah, they were really red. Really red.
Some water, get that right out.
Fire engine red, I'd say.
Well, just enjoy yourself here for a few minutes, and feel free to mingle with the other people. And Xander should be along soon.
Do you mind introducing me to somebody? I'm a little shy.
Well,
I just
sure.
recognized you because you're so prominent. Is that okay?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Let me introduce you. She turns over to a very clean-cut gentleman who you instantaneously recognize as Clark Richards. He's the host of the immensely popular radio and television show National Bandstand. Yes. Oh, well, who is this lovely creature?
Mr. Richards, my name is Samantha Brewster. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes. Where do I know you from? Have you been a contestant?
I have not. I would love to. Is that something you could do?
Well, I don't really, I try not to dabble too much. When I'm here, I like to not talk business too much.
Okay.
So I don't try to do that. But
no, I understand.
What brings you here?
This is our first time. We're very curious.
Zip.
Well, curiosity killed the cat.
That's true. Do we kill a cat?
I already did. Were you not in on that?
Well, that's for Xander.
Yesterday.
How long have you been with the church?
Oh, I've been with him for about a year or so.
Okay.
Yeah, so it took me a little doing and to become one of the upper elite in the church.
Very nice.
But I finally made it.
What would I have to do to rise to that position?
Zip.
Well, you have to put in the time, my young lady.
What time is it?
Time and money, and the ability to erase your past. You must surrender your personality.
Really?
Is that something you're willing to do?
Is that how you're able to do that game show over and over and over with no feeling?
Well, and he sort of leans in and whispers in your ear, I wish that person were dead.
What person?
Clark Richards, host of the National Bandstand. I can't stand that jackass.
You have to be him, don't you?
Absolutely. But that's not why we're here, are we? We're here to be other people.
That is true.
Body snatchers.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure meeting you.
And you as well. Oh, have you met? As I pull up the thing, have you met Davey?
Dave Davies from NPR? I have not met him, but I would love to.
No, it's Davey Sam. Davey, come over here a sec. And there's an African American gentleman who comes on over, and he's like, "Hey, baby, what's up?" And he's the popular Las Vegas nightclub singer.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Davey Samuels Jr.
Not Sammy Davis Jr.
No, Davey Samuels Jr.
Oh, okay, good.
You recognize him instantaneously because of the Las Vegas thing, but also because he's been reputed to have mob connections with backing his showbiz career. He also makes regular appearances on the Colgate Comedy Hour, What's My Line, The Ed Sullivan Show, and The Tonight Show with Jack Barr.
He's a really good friend.
Did you just
Sinatra.
Wikipedia 50s TV shows and just list them out there?
You got it, baby.
I can't believe how many people are here. This is fantastic.
Well, hey, what's up there, baby?
I'm a little starstruck.
What brings you here?
Well, this is our first time. We're very curious to see what this is all about. We need something different in our lives.
Well, you stick with me, sweetheart. And he sort of wraps his arm around your waist. Come on over here. Talk to this young lady. And he pulls you over towards the naked young lady on the altar.
Feel
Hi,
free to
what's your
tell him
name?
that that is a no-no square.
My no-no zone.
No zone.
Somebody in the wiki, please put in the name of the guy that Jeremy just said. That
Davy Samuels Jr.
Davy Samuels Jr. Thank you.
Davy Samuels Jr. Yeah.
Davy Crockett.
He's like, I'm sorry, darling. What was your name again? Sam? Samantha?
Sam. You can call me Sam.
I like that. Short and sweet. Sam, why don't you meet
Short?
this young, fine young here? What was your name, honey? It's Betty.
Hi, Betty. How long have you been with the church?
Would you like a grape?
Yeah, I'd love one. Starving.
Have a grape. And she pops it straight in your mouth, like from 10 feet away. And Dave gives you a Heimlich. I said Heimlich.
Oh.
Betty, where can I get a glass of wine? I spilt mine all over the front of my dress.
And she sort of nods over towards another coffin that's been set up with some more drinks on it.
Okay, Davey, I'll be right back. I'm going to go grab a drink.
Yeah. Don't be a stranger, kid. So, Chuck, you witnessed most of this?
Yeah, I do.
With your observation powers?
Roll for observating.
Observation powers unite.
And the fedora gentleman sort of walks away as Sam and Davy sort of come into monopolize the time of the naked young lady.
I should probably get right up in there and make sure that they're not doing anything bad.
Well, currently Davy's standing there by himself in front of the naked young lady, and Sam has wandered off to get another drink. What does that be? I can't see it.
That's all right. It's what I think is what we walked through.
Oh, sarcophagus.
Yeah, that's creepy.
The mummy.
Well, with Sam being a little bit crazy, I should probably stick with her.
I'm not
Or is she
crazy,
with an
the snake
eyesight?
was real.
Before you can go, you feel an arm on your shoulder.
I would
And
hope
you
that's
hear-
where my arm is. My God.
You feel it.
What the hell
And,
is this thing?
You hear a voice, Mr. Blaine? Is that you?
Who's asking?
And you see it's the fedora guy. He's like, I'm Mitchell Arroyo. I'm with the FBI. We
You're
met
with the FBI?
many years ago.
Okay.
It was in passing. Maybe you don't remember. You were just turning in some investigative work that we had hired, the agency had hired you for. And I just remember the name, and I saw you back then. This must have been like 7-8 years ago, I think.
Oh, man, I was 3 at the time.
I know. Yeah, you were just a young'un. Just a little firecracker. I thought you were trying to get into the FBI at one point.
Yeah. And then I realized
That
that
didn't pan
you all
out?
suck. Bureaucratic red tape.
Well, that you're absolutely correct about, for sure. Well, what have you been up to? I understand that you do some investigative stuff. Do you have an office here in town?
Yeah. We're in town, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we in the Mexican restaurant district?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're in LA. You're still in LA.
Yes.
Right. Technically, our office is it right outside the Mexican restaurant district? It is right outside the
It's on the
Mexican
cusp.
restaurant
It's on the cusp.
district.
Yeah, it's pretty much the nicest office that anyone's ever had.
Yeah, I think I heard through Pipeline, too, you were doing some investigating into communist activities?
Periodically to pay the bills.
Sure. Well, that's of interest to me, too, right now. It seems to be quite the scourge here in Hollywood.
Don't take this as a sign that I'm boring you. I mean, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe we could help each other out. I could really use some information from time to time. If I could collar a high-profile commie, that would really help me out.
Yeah, as long as it's legit. I don't go
Well,
off
absolutely. Absolutely. I'm only interested in legit, but
all right. I think that could be arranged.
Great. And I could help you out with some inside information from time to time too.
What do you have on this place?
Well, actually, this is pretty much my hobby. I really like the excitement that this character brings. I don't believe even half of it some of the time, but it's just kind of fun. For me, it's more fun. Plus, take a look around, Blaine. This is this is the upper crust here. You got Davy Samuels Jr. over there. You got Clark Richards over there. Donna Hurley. This is some good stuff here. Plus, we have naked women.
It's one. It's
like every Friday.
And she just sits there and eats grapes and talks with her Midwestern accent?
Well, if you can get past that, I don't even really, hear what she's saying half the time.
Yeah, she.
Because it's the 50s or 30s or 20s, whatever we decide.
70s now.
And actually, let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. How about Sam and Chuck? Why don't you each give me
$20?
A particular role that I have to look up real quick. Is there a known as No?
No.
K-N-O-W or N-O?
K-N-O-W.
There is not K-N-O-T.
I wonder what that would be. Thank you.
Education.
This is from a previous thing, so I'm wondering what no. Let's see. Call of Cthulhu, 7th edition. No skill. Yeah, I figured that's going to be too bad.
It's probably swim. It took place of swim.
I think you're right. I think it's totally swim. No. Let me just quickly pop open somebody here. How about you, sir? It's probably going to be...
Charm.
You know what? I think it's going to be... Let's go with history. That seems to be good, right?
Okay, good luck with that.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah,
pretty tight. Yeah. All right, so your history rolls failed, so we'll proceed along.
All right, Sam, push the roll.
No, don't push the roll. You don't have to.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
It.
Could be terrible. Could be terrible for you if you fail, especially if you have a 5. That would be tight. That'd be a little tight. So
that would be fun.
All right. So that pretty much sums up your conversation with Mitchell Arroyo, FBI agent. Sam, you go pour yourself another drink. What else do you do?
I'm going to walk over and touch base with Chuck.
Which base?
So,
base?
I think this is just a club to let people who have to be in the public eye drop that persona and be somebody else.
I suppose it could be harmless.
Now, I don't know about harmless yet, but it's definitely a different type of club. I don't know if you'd consider it a church, but again, we haven't seen Xander yet.
Yeah, let's see how preachy he gets when he gets out.
Yeah. And if you bump into anybody, Just ask them how long they've been at the church or stuff like that. See what they see if you can get anything willingly out of them.
Willingly, huh?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And who knows? Someone might know Brophy. Maybe he came here.
Yeah. How did we get to this point anyway with this church?
Who are we?
Flyer on a
I
bus
told
stop.
you not to drink it. God damn it.
But was there no connection to Stan? No, okay, it was the chick
No, it
that
was
he was
just a
with,
flyer on a bus
and that
stop.
was the connection to her, wasn't it?
A random flyer.
Wasn't he involved with that like actress or something, and she was
The
involved
whole
with the
thing is a
church?
red herring.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
The one with the dogs,
Right. Okay.
not the birds.
What about the birds and the bees?
The coconut trees.
That's right. All right. What's your plan of action?
Well, do you want to find a spot and sit a little bit and wait for the festivities to begin?
Yes, let's sit. Roll for sitting.
Because sitting and waiting has worked out so great.
I've done a lot of talking. I'm going to
There's
sip
more
my
people
water.
here. There's more people here you haven't met.
Oh, but see, we were successful, so we have to sit. Oh, sorry. Anyway. Yeah, let's go, let's just kind of wander and eavesdrop, I guess. See if we
Okay.
can pick up anything.
Hey, Chuck, I'm going to sit and see if anybody approaches me.
Oh, you think
Why
just
don't
your
you
girl people will
go talk
approach
with
you?
Betty and see if she's heard of Brophy at all?
Roll for sitting.
Okay. I already did. I was great at it.
Sam has to roll for sitting since she's the one doing it.
That's right.
I'm not
Yeah,
rolling for
sorry.
shitting.
Can't
See,
roll
this
for
is
somebody
a
else.
life hack I just found is if you make the number higher than 100, then you always pass.
It's nice.
Yay.
I
That's
like it.
true.
Hashtag life hacks.
All right. So Sam is sitting down, sipping her wine,
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes, I am.
and awaiting, trying to catch the eye of any particular person. There is a couple gentlemen you haven't met yet.
I'm scanning the room
and
to see
a
if I
couple,
make any eye
couple
contact.
ladies as well. Couple ladies as well.
Hmm.
Well, actually, yeah. Why not? There is a raven-haired, young, beautiful woman.
I have raven hair.
You do. I
No, there's
know.
ravens in my
Who-
hair.
who's
Stop
sort of
looking in
like-
the mirror, damn it.
She's sort of standing over by the tarantula under a glass, sort of caressing the glass casing, and just locking eyes with you across the room.
I raise my glass up to her and nod.
She raises her glass and takes a
Take
sip,
a sip.
and then sort of languidly walks toward you.
I get up and walk away. No. I hide behind the couch.
I need
I
an
stand
adult.
up and say, "Hello, my name's Samantha. What's your name?"
I'm Donna. We haven't met, have we?
No, this is my first time. I'm a little nervous.
And she sort of puts out her hand for you to
Kiss?
kiss, maybe,
Lick
or at least
sensually.
take. You tell me what you do.
I shake her hand, and it's a pleasure to meet you. I don't need to put $10 in there, do I?
And she looks you up and down, sort of
I lick you up and down.
appraisingly, and says, "Well, it's very nice to meet you too, and I'm sure the Dark Master will appreciate you.
You think
But
I'll be able
just-
to meet him?
I'm sure you will, but just so you know, he's mine now.
And just so you know, she's a lesbian, so it's not a
So
problem.
watch
You're
your
in the
step."
car. Shut it.
Matt's just bored. We've been recording for 45 minutes. He hasn't done it.
Hold on, I'm going to be Matt real quick. Zip.
And so she looks at you appraisingly up and down, and basically gives you a little bit of some sort of cold shoulder vibes a little bit. And when she says, "Just watch your step," and she clinks your glass, and then immediately turns and walks away.
Interesting.
That bitch.
I break my glass and jam it in the back of her spine,
She's a whore.
and then I suck
Think
the
it's
fluid
arrested.
from her spinal cord.
Game over.
Disrespect your surroundings. I sit back down a little miffed.
Okay. And she clearly goes back to her post at the tarantula and sort of gives it a caress and then walks over to Betty, quote unquote Betty.
It's not Betty White, is it?
It is Betty White. I'm naked. The young lady.
She was hot.
The young lady on the altar, and takes her face in one hand and plants a big kiss, and then they both look over at you.
I raise my glass and take a sip.
And Davy Samuels goes, "Whoo, dang!
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!"
That's what I'm talking about." And he slaps another guy on the back.
Yes.
A sort of like nebbishy kind of guy who's wearing glasses and a tie.
A tie?
Nerd! So, Chuck, what were you doing?
I was going to talk to Betsy. Betty.
So you witnessed all of this just as you were about to try to make small talk with Betty.
Ah, yes, of course.
These two women kiss and then look towards Sam, who appears to be blushing slightly.
No, that's the wine on my dress.
So I'm going to Betty. Betsy. Betty. Beatrice.
Betty White, George. It's Betty White.
Beatrice. So, Beatrice.
And she sort of looks up at you, like very disinterested.
Bitch. Well, how long have you been around here?
I've been here for eons.
And why are you sitting in the middle of the room naked?
Why not? It's what I choose to do when I'm not otherwise engaged.
Are you a member of a church or a superior or?
Well, I just do whatever the Dark Master wants me to do.
And what does he usually want you to do?
Right now, engage in small talk with small men.
We expect him to appear.
Oh, don't rush the Master. He'll be here when he's here.
But, like, when will that be?
Any hour now.
Oh, my God. Betsy, you're not helpful.
It's George's worst nightmare, small talk role playing.
I don't even do this in real life. Oh.
And she languidly looks away from you and back towards Davy Samuels, who's kind of giving you the eye. Although he does have like one lazy eye.
So he's giving you all the eyes.
Oh, bad news, guys. Oh, sorry.
And you needed a 123 or better, and you got a 7 for quitting the podcast.
And then Davy sort of gives you the weird eye and then slowly edges away and turns back to Sam to do some small talk. But the bespectacled guy,
Legs guy,
comes up to you and immediately shoves out his hand. Hi, I'm Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
Well, what are you doing here? It's you're very interesting. I haven't seen you here before.
I find myself to be very non-interesting, and so do most other people.
Well, that's what I thought too until I joined the Church of Knights.
Isn't it Church of Night? I think the Church of Knights meets in the castle down the street.
The Church of Knights.
They say me.
I find all this very fascinating, don't you?
I don't know. I've just been sitting here at freaking cocktail hour waiting for that guy for an hour.
Books are weird, and these people are weird, and
people are weird everywhere.
It's different from my everyday job, that's for sure.
What's your everyday job?
Small talk. Oh well, I work at I work at.
Bad news, guys.
Uh-oh.
Even better.
Even better. That's a
I
better
did
roll.
even better.
I think that was an extreme success, Chuck.
That's right.
Well, I work at the aerospace engineering. We do some rocket fuel research.
Okay, and am I supposed to care or what?
Well, I guess not, but I assumed you were here, so you were interested in the occult.
I'm interested in just knowing what the hell's going on. And yet here we are at cocktail hour.
Aren't we all looking for answers?
I mean, that's literally what I paid to do. Although we really don't make much money for somehow being a company. Should look into that.
Well, you know, sir, I would have never have said this before, but you're kind of a bore.
Yeah. So
I hear that quite a lot
move
myself,
on.
but I think I'm starting to understand that.
All right, good. See you later. Sam, make a note. We need to review our pricing structure.
Okay.
Or something to that effect. or play Max Headroom. Either way. All right. Oh, did we lose George? No, he's still moving. I can see him moving. Where'd Matt go?
Is the car for real,
It's been
maybe?
an hour and 1 minute. I haven't said a word. I quit.
It has been an hour. He hasn't said a thing for an
He
hour.
has not been a part of this
I was
episode.
napping under my desk. I was assuming that nothing was happening.
He comes back in and he goes, zip.
Right.
I was taking a nap.
All right. So the nebbishy rocket science guy, Patrick Carson, moves away, and now Chuck is basically standing all by his lonesome at the altar.
How I like it.
Betty is trying her best to ignore him, and Sam is trying to ward off the advances of Davy Samuels Jr. And suddenly there is a flash and a puff of white smoke behind the altar. Sam and Chuck, please roll a 100-sided dice. D100.
It's a flash. Roll for savior of the universe.
Ah.
Did I do it right?
Ha!
46 and 36. Okay. So both of you see a bald gentleman in grand silver and sable ceremonial robes. And he sort of makes a dramatic appearance. And both of you notice a very small door swinging silently shut in the base of the altar as the smoke clears. He is clutching a black lacquered wooden staff with the head of Anubis, Egyptian god of death. And he says, "Friends, seekers of mysteries beyond the veil of night, gather round as we summon the forces of darkness." And people start to come towards the altar and stand in a semicircle. What do you do?
I get up. I'm going to walk over to the back of the group and kind of peer over shoulders.
Agreed.
All right. He strikes a magnificent pose as Betty turns her body to look at him. And so, of course, now you can see her butt. And he rises up his staff and says, "Hail, powers of night!" And everybody else in the party repeats it. "Hail, powers of night!" Do you chant along?
No,
I look over at
I
Chuck.
think we're good.
I'm not chanting.
I'm all right.
Okay. Suddenly you hear a loud gong. Insert sound effect here. And Xander Llewellyn raises his staff again and he says, "We summon thee, Lilith and Set, Loki and Dracula, and all those who haunt the dark. Join us now as we praise you, so that our desires upon this earthly sphere may come to pass. Come forth and join with us now." And then the group says, "Hail, powers of night!" Switching.
I want to see Dracula.
Hail Caesar was a
Hail
disappointing
Caesar.
movie.
Bela Lugosi is awesome.
All right.
It's time for dinner.
Time for din. Actually, I think that's probably a pretty good place to stop.
Yeah, that was
episode.
perfect, actually.
That was 60 minutes, so we're good there. So we'll do our outro real quick.
Okay.
Hey, good job on this episode, Matt. I really liked your investment.
Matt, you were the best you've ever been.
Oh,
I work
brilliant.
hard to
Brilliant.
continually improve myself.
All right. So I think that's where we'll call it. So what do you guys think so far?
I think it's getting pretty interesting.
I think this car smells funny.
It's because you're in it.
Right. Sorry.
Well, if you hadn't picked up those tacos on the Mexican side of town.
Oh.
How can I not? We're right next to the Mexican restaurant district.
All right. So any theories or anything?
I shouldn't have gotten those taco fish before I hopped in the car.
I think he's a performer. I think he's just getting money.
It's some sort of tax-exempt moneymaker.
Mm-hmm. Scam-a-rama.
Ding dong.
George thinks it's a ding-dong.
Oh,
Ding dong.
no, he was thinking about dinner.
Not a king-dong. That's different.
All right.
No, that's
Ding dong and the
on its way
dinglings.
from Amazon next week, though.
All right. So what we're going to do is we have a new segment, our usual segment, Recommendos of the Week. I'm going to start things off with my recommendation for a movie. And I saw with Brian, actually, a movie called I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. And it's a Netflix movie. It's extremely creepy, although kind of slow-paced. But it's directed by, and I didn't do this one before, did I, guys?
I don't think so.
Okay, good. Thank you. It's directed by, I believe, the son of Anthony Perkins. And so it's kind of an interesting thing. And there's a little scene, a snippet of a character watching a TV show which features Anthony Perkins in it. So there's some nice little callbacks there. But it's a really good movie. It's super creepy. It's not a feel good movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it's well worth seeking out. Yeah, tequila, baby. And so I'd recommend seeing that if you like scary movies that take their time and build character and just sort of creep you out. It's kind of like a poem in movie format. So I'd recommend that. How about you, Brian?
Almost a one-woman show, I'd say. For that.
Yeah,
She pulled it off.
Although Bob Balaban's in it.
Right, but not a lot. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's something interesting. I just learned today, actually, Bob Balaban, who is a regular performer in the Christopher Guest movies, so Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, those types of things. He also directed a movie back in the 90s. Do you know what that movie might be? Without Googling it real quick?
Fright Night.
Parents.
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah. So he directed Parents, which I haven't seen in decades. And it's a sort of a black comedy, sort of a horror movie, but comedy more.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that he directed that, which is really fascinating.
That just sparked a memory. I know we're going to go off on a movie tangent, so I'm just going to say this one thing, and then I'll do my recommendation because we could go for hours.
Yeah.
That's just sparked a memory in my head to watch Society again.
Oh, yes. And a Blu-ray just came out of that, special edition. Yeah, so I've been meaning to see it too. It's supposed to be, looks
see if I can
good.
rent the HD copy.
Yeah.
Anyway, mine's a movie as well. My recommendation.
Okay.
I just took my daughter to see Moana, the new Disney movie. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. Being a father of a young woman, it's neat to see a female character that doesn't need anybody else to accomplish something. It was very empowering for her and for me.
Very cool.
So, highly recommend it. Take your whole family. It's a great movie.
Nice. Very cool. All right, Chuck, how about you? Georgie?
This is Rav Power block from Amazon that I got almost 17,000 milliamps. Is that what they even
Milliamp hours,
Milliamp hours?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was like $20, and it's like
Jeez.
3 or 4 full charges of my phone.
Nice.
It has a little stupid flashlight that I don't use, but anyway. It's been good so far.
Flashlight's cool. I like that.
I like it.
I often use. We just had a power outage last night, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I had to resort to my phone, use it because it has a nice flashlight on the back of it. As you know, Matt, you got the same model I do. But it would have been nice to have a power brick. I would never thought about that. That'd make a better flashlight.
Lasts a lot longer.
Yeah.
Cool. How about you, Maddie?
This week, I'm going to continue on a roll from our theme from last week and recommend another great Tycoon game. If you are a fan of Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, you'll enjoy Planet Coaster, which I recommended last week. But if you're more of a fan of the first 2 Roller Coaster Tycoon games, you're going to want to check out a game called Parkitect, which is the same upgrade. It's very much an upgrade of the Roller Coaster Tycoon formula, but it still has the isometric view that so many people fell in love with back then.
Very cool.
Cool.
All right, so that's our recommendations for this week. That's going to be it for this episode of the Lovecraft Tapes. Thank you for listening. Feel free to send comments to podcast@thelovecrafttapes.com. Please subscribe on iTunes, Google Music, Stitcher, or anywhere you download your regular podcasts. If you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, please. Meanwhile, you can find us at thelovecrafttapes.com and on Twitter @lovecrafttapes. Also interact with us on reddit.com/r/thelovecrafttapes. You can find my fiction on Amazon. Just search for Jeremy E. Johnson or Sheila Helsing Demon Huntress. I'm also on Twitter @BoomstickBrew.
And for Dan's ultimate guide to carpool karaoke, you can follow me on Twitter @TheRealWeirdKid.
You can find me on Twitter at Sam_Brewster2, the number, not TOO.
Yeah, I broke my internet, so.
He dropped the internet box. There's no more internet.
That's right.
Careful with that. Be careful.
I didn't drop it. She dropped it.
God damn it.
All right, that's going to do it for now. We'll catch you next week. Thanks. Bye.
Good night.
I might not be here because I might not do anything.
All right, so we'll take a quick break. Go ahead and stop your Audacity. And go ahead and export that puppy.
You know, for some reason, this is a really small audio file, and I haven't quite figured out why yet.
Oh, that's great.
All right, this is episode 13. Jeremy. And I'll be right back.
You too.
Me too. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah.
And if you're just tuning in, welcome back to the Empty Chair broadcast, your all-night source for all your needs for looking at a bunch of empty chairs. Or it's just me all here by myself. I mean, this is the most talking I've done all night, so...
All right. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so that's done. And just check my file. Dark Angeles, state modified. 40 babes. Bink. All right. Matt, you good with oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were walking away. What's it say? Taco, taco, taco?
I'm hanging up a sign that says that I will be gone for taco fish, and I'm coming back whenever the fuck I feel like it.
Well, we'll get you in here pretty quick. It shouldn't be too much longer for you to come. So, are you good with recapping, or do you want one of these jackasses to do it?
I think we should make one of them doing it, considering I didn't do anything at all last episode.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think we should make Brian do it because he's not here.
Yeah, he's the sick one too, George.
Brian, if you don't want to do it, say something.
He specifically said he didn't want to do any talking tonight, or not as much, anyways.
Oh, then he shouldn't have gone into
his finances are still bothering him.
Pussy.
Right? That's what I said. Suck it up.
Shuck it up.
Shuck it.
Shuck it.
We'll see how he feels. Hey, B.
About
you hear us
time.
okay, B? No, your mic's not working, buddy.
Your mic's muted, dude.
Quit muting.
I had it muted, then I just hit the button and unmuted it, and it didn't unmute.
It's blinky blinky.
It's very sensitive.
Are you getting cold in there yet?
Yeah, that's why I was turning all the heaters on.
With no heat?
Yep, it's freezing.
Son of a bitch.
Yep.
All right.
Son of a bitch. Lando's up on the bed upstairs, curled in the smallest ball he could possibly be in.
Oh, poor guy.
Put a blanket on him.
Poor Poopy.
Okay.
All right.
So when I hit record again, it'll do another track. Is that correct? Or do I X out of this one?
I X out of it.
Okay.
So there's no confusion. So we should have to start with blanky.
We don't need to clap again?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, I'm recording now.
Yep. And me as well?
Let me reset here.
Okay.
And we're recording again.
There's no resetting in baseball.
There is one.
All right, you guys ready?
You ready, George?
Let's clap on 3. A 1, a 2, a 3. Thank you. All right, so let's jump right into it so we don't stay up too late. Brian, we were talking while you were out. Are you up to recapping since Matt wasn't there? Or do you want George to do it?
George, if he could. My throat is killing me.
I have no idea what happened. I've just been sitting in the car the whole time.
George, we're going to saddle you with it.
Sorry, George.
It's fine.
Let's do the best you can. We'll try to pitch in. Yep. All right.
Just remember, boobs,
get
butts.
At it. Boobs and butts. Nothing but boobs and butts.
Butts and boobs and butts and boobs and butts.
All right. All right, here we go. Welcome to the Lovecraft Tapes, a real play Call of Cthulhu RPG campaign using Roll20.net. I am your keeper of arcane lore, Jeremy Boomstick Johnson. Your investigators of the unknown are Matt Zealish as Daniel Williams.
You know, I'm really starting to feel at home in this car, and I really don't think I'm ever going to go anywhere else ever again.
Taco, taco, taco. Ryan Johnson is Samantha Sam Brewster.
Does anybody have any club soda?
And George Gallagher as Chuck Blaine.
I left my quip at home. Sorry.
My dog ate my quip.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a week has gone by, which has been really quick. So how's everybody been doing?
Good. You?
Great.
You know, I just feel like I haven't been contributing as much as I normally have.
Well, you've had a whole week.
You have not been carrying your weight at all.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm drinking a nice ice water with lime in it. This is a completely new glass of water.
Water.
I assume Brian's not drinking anything because he's sick.
Not yet, but I'm going to drink a Tale of the Shoney Scottish Ale from Church Street.
Well, I'll fix you right up.
As soon as I finish the rest of this water.
Yeah.
Nice.
Surprise, surprise. They put water in bottles now. It's really weird.
Yes, but only if you live in Flint.
Oh.
All right. So before we begin, we need to take a quick commercial break. Starting now. And we're back.
I can't believe we let them advertise with us.
I
Like,
know,
we have
right?
such shitty
I
standards.
thought it was brilliant.
Oh my god.
Terrible people.
Hey, they give us free money and meat. What do you want?
It's weird for an eye doctor.
All right, so we need to have someone recap the story so far. What happened last week,
Oh,
George?
please let me do it. Oh, please.
This time, just this once.
Last week, Matt sat in the car. He kind of shifted around a little bit, probably turned on the radio, listened to a little bit of music, looked out the window.
You missed my really soulful rendition of Tequila.
He had a soulful rendition of Tequila, switched the radio station again, kind of dozed off for a minute, and that was about it. It was a thrilling episode.
Very, very accurate, George. I applaud you. I applaud you with your accuracy.
And then we did some other stuff. I don't know.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Sam and me
back
were
at the
at-
Hall of Justice.
we're in the Hall of Justice, and we were fraternizing with the people there and trying to find any information. They didn't really give us a whole lot of useful information. We saw an animate snake animate, and that was not good. But that was about all we saw. And then
Except for Betty.
what's his name? QRXTUV Xander showed up and started chanting, and it was all a very ridiculous spectacle. And now we are mid-sermon.
Yeah, that about sums it up. Yes.
Praise
So
And as the Lord said, you shall bring forth those.
bring me the piss bucket.
Bring me
I
a
can't, sir.
strawberry.
It's a pissing distance away.
Where is the piss boy?
He is one pissing
One
distance
pissing
away.
distance.
Yeah, so that pretty much sums it up. And now we continue with episode 14, chapter 2, Dark Angelus. So is falling asleep practically behind the wheel. He's not driving though, so that's don't be alarmed. And give me 2 seconds here. I gotta
Now it's the Danny episode.
Now it's the day. Exactly right. Meanwhile, Sam and Chuck are snoring. Sam and Chuck are basically taking in the somewhat ridiculous but still interesting spectacle of Xander Lenoir inciting the rest of the celebrity group seekers into chanting back and forth and making do with some stage smoke.
Look at the bones.
Yeah, sorry, I was hearing some hissing or something. And so that's where we're at right now. So essentially, this sort of goes on back and forth. So Xander sort of invokes some mystical demon to, help or whatever. And there is a callback from the attendees, and then Betty produces she's the naked young lady on the altar.
Yes, she is.
Produces a chalice, a silver chalice. It's oversized, and she lifts it up to
Where
Xander.
was she keeping that?
It was sort of set down by the side of the altar.
She produced it, you said.
Yes, yes. Possibly from another compartment that was clumsily obscured next to the altar. So she raises it up to Xander, and he, strikes a dramatic pose and drinks from it, and you can see a little bit of red on his lips, and then he lowers it down to the rest of the group, and they proceed to drink and watch the person who is drinking it, and the sword chalice is soon passed along to Sam.
I put my lips on the edge.
Everybody's watching.
Pinch them as tight as I can and tip it in. Get it on the lip.
All right. Why don't you give me a... We didn't do a no roll last time. We did a history, right? So that kind of stuck. How about an intelligence roll? I like that. Intelligentsia. All right. Looks like you succeeded on your intelligence roll. So, Sam, even though you don't necessarily ingest anything, you can smell it, and you can practically taste it because you've tasted this all your life. It's fruit punch.
Oh, I lick my lips.
Yep, it's fruit punch. And you pass the chalice to...
Pass the chalice to Chuck.
Chuck, sorry.
Chuck's sleeping.
I guess I'll just put it up to my lips like she did.
Okay. You two easily recognize it as fruit punch?
But who knows what's in the fruit punch?
True.
Well, we're all waiting for the spaceship to come get us. Put your white tennis shoes on.
All right. So, Chuck, you were the last one in line, and the robed individual who let you into the antechamber takes the chalice from you and puts it back next to the altar. Then the something in the basement, be right back. Okay. Matt, this is an audio podcast, buddy. As he disconnects everything.
Sorry, what was that? I was in the basement. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. All right. So at that point, the assistant, the robed individual, goes around and starts lighting some black candles, and you notice that the group of folks have sort of lowered their heads and are sort of muttering under their breath some weird prayer.
Hey, what's that prayer?
Oh, boy.
I lower my head and kind of look around as I do.
Why don't each of you give me an occult roll?
Yeah. Danny, where's your occult roll?
Sorry, what? I can't hear you. I'm in
Chuck,
the car.
you failed your occult roll, unfortunately.
Why don't I ever know where anything's at?
It's alphabetical.
It's in the investigator skills section under the O's. And before the P's.
Gross.
But fortunately, so Sam, you do recognize that as you lower your head and sort of listen carefully to what other people are yeah, exactly right. Other people are sort of muttering under their breath in unison, I might add. And Xander is sort of, it appears as though he is, speaking or mouthing the words, but no sound is coming from his lips. But everybody else is chanting whatever's coming out of his mouth. But with your role, you do recognize that with your occult learnings, there's really no discernible religious pattern that you can detect, and no real metaphysical details that make any sense. And essentially what you're seeing, and as these people sort of start swaying and Xander starts making these mystical patterns with his hands, it's kind of like a mishmash of theatrical gestures and dire pronouncements. Essentially harmless psychodrama.
It's a pageant. We're putting on a pageant.
And because you have read the Book of the Underlands, and you have a bit of Cthulhu mythos.
Mm-hmm.
This just appears to be utter bullshit nonsense to you.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, you've seldom seen a worse example of someone attempting to be serious about religion or, the sort of rituals associated with this type of thing, particularly since you've read that book.
And I'm going to cast Contact Ghouls. Because I could if I wanted to.
That's right. All right, so
I'm going to elbow Chuck and just shake, as my head's down, just shake my head, like, just so he knows that I have something.
She just elbowed me?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Oh, we're going to go, motherfucker.
But she elbowed you in the elbow. So
I elbowed you in the elbow. So
cancel each other out.
Yep. There was an explosion somewhere in the
world.
All right. Suddenly, there's a crash of breaking glass and a loud scream.
Tarantula.
Everybody sort of, stands up out of their trance or whatever the heck they're doing, their psychodrama baloney, including the Lo Noir. You notice that right away, that he appears to be startled as well. And why don't you give me, each of you, a psychology roll?
Oh, it's better.
You should do well at this, Chuck.
Jesus Christ. Oh, come on.
All right. So, yeah, it looks like you guys both failed. So, what happened? You actually fumbled. That's funny. Or I guess Brian did.
Hey, can I push the roll?
Well, that's totally up to you. But if you do and it goes poorly, you know the consequence.
Well, you don't know
Is it just extra bad consequences? I can't remember.
Yes.
It's something that I can introduce that it will be very bad for your character.
Oh, guys, should I do it? I was 60.
Yes, you should do it. No, don't do it.
It's up to you, but I would say probably not.
But I wrote it.
Honestly, it's
all on our wiki in bright colors.
It's something that you should only do when it
dire
really,
need.
when there's.
Okay, I'm
You're
just a
gonna
little
get
bit
killed
bitter
either
about
way.
the fact that the only thing I actually have a lot of points in failed, but all right, whatever.
It happens.
We'll
Well, this,
move on.
it's sort of chaotic as there's, breaking glass and loud scream,
Right.
because not only that, but you see that some things have crashed through the windows into the ritual chamber. They appear to be humanoid, faceless, horned, and bat-winged.
Ah, yes, horny bats.
And I'm going to need each of you to roll sanity.
Son of a bitch.
Yay!
Oh boy, Georgie. That's not good.
But I rolled the same thing twice in a row, so that's cancels it out, right?
Sure. Did you roll 2, Sam?
I did. I clicked it.
Oh, you
did
did?
it not go?
Yeah, you're above Georgie.
Oh, okay.
So it appears
yeah,
that
there
you
it is.
both failed, which is not great. So I need to roll something here.
Jesus. George, why didn't you push it?
It's because I'm not there.
Now we
This
both.
is
Well,
my
you guys got
retribution.
Super duper lucky. You each take one sanity damage. Now, as you recall, if you lose a certain amount of points of sanity within a short span of time, then you could lead to temporary insanity. So we're lucky that we.
That's what those are for.
Yeah. So right now you must lower each of your sanity by 1. If I'm not mistaken, that means you've lost 2, right, Sam?
Correct.
Within
I'm
the course
at 48
of.
out of 50, I think, is how it's supposed to
Okay,
go.
well that's not too bad because it's
Or
usually
48 out of 99. I don't know.
I'd have to double check if it were a large sanity loss, but I think like 5 points in any given set of time would be bad news.
Okay, I've only lost 2 out of my total.
So right now you're just really sort of shaken, and obviously
Not stirred.
Yeah, and it's I will say, how about Sam is so shaken that she clutches at at Chuck and sort of is clinging to him. And he, in turn, is sort of taking a couple steps back from these creatures, since you both failed your sanity rolls.
So you could say they're shaken, not stirred.
I already said that, man.
Right. Now, Sam, what is your Cthulhu Mythos skill?
Oh, that you're gonna love it. It's 0.
I know. I thought we'd increase that because of the book.
My magic.
Or did you increase occult? Because you had a pretty high occult.
Yeah. Let's see.
Did we put that in the wrong
Occult
thing?
is at a
Possibly.
50, so maybe we put it in that.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll make it this very easy for you because you've done the most research and because these creatures are relatively familiar.
Oh.
They're not exactly gaunts,
Not exactly ghouls.
but they appear to be really close to gaunts. They look like gaunts, except for these guys have gigantic bat wings.
What the
And flicking razor barbed tails. And as you are gaping at them and Chuck takes a step back and you're clutching to him, the fiends whip their tails and smash the wall lighting. The room is plunged into complete darkness. You hear shouting and screaming. Someone backs up into you and elbows you in your elbow. It's the worst thing ever.
We got elbows on elbows on elbows.
Come on down to the elbow, poor forward.
Hi,
Chuck,
Hanson. My eyes Johnson.
Chuck, you feel something thud heavily to the floor to your right, and you hear more tinkling of broken glass. You're pretty sure that it's the tarantula that was under glass. And then you start to hear people all around you babbling. What are those things? Those things! I think I cut myself. Are they gone? Who's grabbing my arm? Where's the noir?
Trim.
I'm over here. Where are they? It's got me. Somebody get the lights for God's sake. And then suddenly you see someone produce a flashlight.
It's amazing that all those things were said separately and no one spoke over each other.
An incredible amount of patience in this crowd to scream.
Right?
Is it my turn to talk yet?
Yes, you go now. And you? What would you like to exclaim? Someone produces a hand flashlight.
Holy dancing demons, Batman.
And I will say this. So at this point, Daniel, you hear glass breaking from somewhere in the back of the house. You just hear
those
it,
wild
like,
kids
faintly.
in their parties.
Yes. Is that really what you're doing?
Yes, that is exactly what I am doing.
Is going back to sleep?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've been sitting out in the car with no inclination of anything.
This is your chance to have part of this episode with you in it, if you'd like to participate.
Yeah, Matt, it's your turn to take over. We're really tired, so just let us know when the episode's over.
Well,
So I'll ask you again one more time. Is that what you're doing?
do I really feel like
not a trick
helping
question.
these people or not?
Well, no, I'm just saying you have been waiting out there. It's been very quiet. And then you hear a crashing of glass, obviously towards the back of the house.
I'm going to say fuck this watch, and I'm going to hop out of the car and jog around to the back of the house.
Okay. All right. Back inside, you see Sam and Chuck. Someone has a flashlight and they're sort of stabbing the rays through the dark, catching all these frightened faces. And then some lights come up, and you see basically a huge mess in the ritual chamber. And there is the naked young lady who is striking a very unladylike pose on the floor near the altar. And she's massaging a blossoming blue bruise on her right leg. There is the rocket science guy. He is pulling broken glass out of his right hand, blood dripping onto the carpet. There is a gentleman who I don't think you even met. I gotta double check my notes. Yep, an older gentleman who Chuck recognizes as Kent Cross, an avant-garde Hollywood filmmaker, and he is sort of looking everywhere with a mixture of alarm and wonderment on his face, as if he wants to make a movie out of it. And Xander de Lenoir is sort of looking around, but trying to maintain his calm. He's smoothing down his robes, and he sort of yells out, "Patience, everyone, patience!" And so I'm going to need each of you to give me a psychology roll.
This is your chance for redemption, Chuck.
I got this.
It's the final countdown.
Oh my god, that's the
And
third 93 in a row. That has to be worth something.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's worth 93.
The odds of that are 1 in 10,000.
All right. So how about each of you give me a spot hidden roll?
I have a feeling Chuck is going to roll a 93.
Mm-hmm. What did he roll?
Or a 9, and it's awesome.
Seriously, 1 in 10,000. That's amazing.
Oh, come on.
Well, that's perfectly fine.
I'm buried in Chuck's arm anyway.
Ooh.
No, stop it, you perv.
All right,
Sorry.
and now we're going to allow George. Give me a listen roll.
93. Oh.
Ah, nicely done. So successes up the board. You notice immediately that someone is missing.
And
it is. Sarah Whiter is gone. And then in the distance, you hear frightened screams and hysterical laughter coming from outside one of the smashed windows.
What the hell?
I suppose we should go investigate.
Hey, that's not our job.
We have to find a way outside. Well, actually, I mean, is the window like? Can we climb out the window, or too high, or too jagged, or?
So you rush to the window and give me another spot hidden.
Both of us, or just George?
Just George at this point.
I'm stuck to him.
Ooh, snap. So, unfortunately, you can't quite tell where the laughter and the screams are coming from, but Daniel, you race around to the rear of the house, and you very clearly see and hear 2 winged gargoyles of some sort, figures clutching an unfortunate figure and flying off into the night sky.
Must have been something in the taco fish last time I go to that place. Is there any way that I could, like, jump the... Didn't you say there was, like, a wall around the property? I thought I remember...
Yes, there's a fence around the property, yes.
Is there any way I could, like, climb or jump that fence?
Sure, why not?
Roll for a climb or jump.
So you...
Those are legitimate skills, and I actually
leap
have
up on-
points in climb and jump.
You leap up onto the fence, and then you immediately hear a dog rushing towards the fence. Barking.
Damn it.
Sorry, Matt's eyes got huge just then.
I thought I was actually going to do something.
Die?
You are. You're going to die.
Yeah, probably. Okay, I'm going to hop back down off the fence.
Okay, and then you feel and hear the heavy weight of a large German Shepherd smack into the fence and just viciously barking as loud as he can. You smell like sort of the waft of dead pigeons for some reason. I don't know.
9. Bratwurst. Wiener Schnitzel.
Guten Tag.
Volkswagen.
Anything else you'd like to do, Daniel?
I'm going to continue back around to the front of the house.
Okay.
Animal.
You walk around to the front of the house, and here's what we see next. So, Chuck scans the night sky and can't see anything. He turns back in time to see everybody sort of rushing out of the ritual chamber. Looks to be very nervous folk, determined to get the hell out of here as quickly as possible.
I'm going to see if I can find Xander.
He is basically coming up right behind them, trying to calm them down, like, oh, wait, nobody needs to leave just yet. The night is young. We have more rituals to contain. And then one of the young guy who you met, Clark Richards, turns around and points an accusing figure at Lenoir, growling, "This is all your fault."
It's all your fault.
I can smell it.
Mystery solved.
All over again.
Sorry.
He says, "This is all your fault, Lenoir. You brought that witch into our midst and kicked her out, and now she wants her revenge."
Oh, Jesus.
And then that young lady, the raven-haired young lady, jumps in front of Lenoir and says, "You don't know anything. It's Xander's powers keeping the rest of you safe tonight." And then Lenoir goes, "That's right, Donna. If I hadn't used my own powers of darkness against those monsters, this could have been much, much worse." And then people just basically go out onto the front porch, and that's where Daniel sees the front door opening and these people sort of flooding out in a sort of panic and splitting up.
Do I see Chuck and Sam coming out of the house?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you see Chuck and Sam sort of standing behind Lenoir, who is in the doorway with his young little 17-year-old raven-haired beauty.
Okay, I'm going to walk up to the front porch and past Lenoir and right up to Chuck. So, boss, I don't know what kind of crazy shit you guys were into, but two winged bat things just carried some girl off into the sky, and I'm pretty sure I wasn't seeing things.
You probably weren't seeing anything because you were sleeping in your car for the past hour and 5 minutes or whatever it was.
I have to do something, okay? Nothing wrong with catching some Z's.
Did you see what direction they went in?
Up.
Okay, that's not helpful.
And away?
Why do I employ you?
As you guys are sort of standing there talking, the rest of the folks have mostly dispersed except for Mitchell Arroyo, who taps Chuck on the shoulder.
Yes?
We have things to talk about. Meet me at the La Brea Tar Pits next sundown.
Next sundown. So
tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. And he steps into the curb and into his 1953 Cadillac Coupe de Ville. And just as he drives off, you see a familiar car pull up.
Oh no!
I bet it's a light green something with a thing. You know what?
No, it's not. It's not a light green. It's a
cop car.
Sort of unmarked prowler.
Oh, jeez.
And it parks at the curb, and you see Lenoir sort of turn and go back in and close the door.
No! Damn it.
And out steps Manny Black and his partner Oxley.
God damn it.
Did I get those names right? Black and
I
Oxley.
don't know if I got those down.
Manny Black and Ted Oxley. Ted Oxley.
Yeah,
yep.
I put them in the wiki.
And they say, well. Neighbors called, said they heard screams. Care to explain what you're doing here?
We are literally doing nothing wrong, so I don't really care what you say or what you
Look, I don't want to go to jail again.
He dropped the soap last time, and it wasn't a pleasant experience.
All we did is stand here. We didn't do anything.
Doesn't matter with these guys. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's not really a convincing story there. Not with all the screams and breaking glass people heard.
We were
and if you'll take a look there, it looks like the sun's coming up pretty quick.
Are there cakes on the griddle?
How about the cats in the cradle?
You know, I don't know if you know this, but we don't appreciate loiterers and prowlers.
But you have the prowler. All right, we're leaving. Everybody in the car.
Well, you know, why don't you come on down to the station?
Are you fucking kidding me?
For what?
We might just want to have a little chat. You know, I think
What?
I think the last time the judge was a little too lenient on you. He might have some questions for you this time.
For why we just left a residence that we were invited to?
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, the squad cars are coming to investigate a little bit more. All that broken glass, but you know, it's you guys are starting to become kind of a nuisance around here. And look, you all stick together too, which is really convenient for me because you fit all in the back of the car.
We are an investigation agency.
Tell it to the
We're
judge.
gonna call our lawyers.
Come on in.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea, Chuck.
Yep.
Yeah, you can call him from the jail cell.
Okay.
All I did was take a nap in the car.
We'll have your badge, sir.
Yeah, you know where my badge is.
Yeah, it's up your.
I said your badge.
Madge, you're soaking in it. Right.
So I pull out my 22 at the back of his head, unload an entire clip.
So
we're at 60 miles an hour.
You are unceremoniously returned to jail and given a nice cell. This time, what's your credit rating? I know
40.
Chuck's pretty high.
Oh, mine?
Yeah, everybody's. All
40.
3, yes.
Credit rating. It's something I use all the time. Let's see.
It's under your skills.
I'm at a 40.
Are they multiplying?
I got skills.
First column, right above Cthulhu Mythos and below Climb.
10.
Oh, well, Sam, you get the worst of it. You're actually thrown into a jail cell with a bunch of hookers.
Oh, sweet.
That were picked up.
Hey,
and they're not very nice hookers. Not the heart of gold kind.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mistake.
Luckily, both Sam and Chuck, Chuck and Daniel are partnered together in a bunk, which I'm sure is probably hell for Chuck. But and you're given sort of a nice, relatively private cell if you want to talk about anything. But Sam, you're among some ladies who have seen the rougher side of life, and they're not too thrilled with you being there, listening to their conversation, eavesdropping.
I'm not listening to anything. I've had a horrific evening. I'm just going to try to go to sleep.
Okay. Well, the late morning finally arrives. It's about 10 o'clock, and you are all sprung.
Boing.
Boing, from jail mysteriously. The guard comes over and he's like, all right, you're free to go.
I want to talk to a supervisor or a sergeant or a captain or a whatever.
Yeah, you can talk to Cap. He's right out there at the desk.
The president.
I'd like to speak to the
tiny
president.
hands.
Wait. Speak to him, Chuck. Speak to him hard.
I want to know what charges we were possibly held on. To be held overnight.
Chuck Blaine. Good to see you.
That's not an answer.
Who was charges? No, we just had to investigate that break-in, and you've been cleared. They vouched for you.
Break-in when we were in the building.
Yes. It was very suspicious that you guys have been popping up lately.
If they were already inside the
building. In a building that was broken into.
Hey, look, tell the judge, okay? But for right now, you're good to go. Get out of here.
I'll just let your boys know we got a lawyer now. because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'll pass it along. I'm sure Manny will have no problem with that.
Where is Manny right now? I have a can of gasoline we need to introduce him to.
Oh, he's probably having breakfast or something. I don't know.
Oh, good. Do you know where he eats?
I have some spit I could donate to his coffee.
Usually?
I'm going to put Visine in his coffee.
Put salt in his gas tank. Problem solved.
Mm-hmm. Don't put salt in your eye.
Always put salt in your eyes. You know, this whole arresting thing is getting really, really tiresome.
I know it sounds stupid, but I really feel like we should just get a lawyer. Because what if we're like at an integral part of this investigation and they just kind of roll up?
Do you guys think it's a coincidence that they just kind of roll up twice now?
I mean, I'm not an expert. We're in two completely different precincts, and there's somehow patrollers in both of them. I don't know how that happens.
Exactly. They're following us. There's something.
I mean, I have been followed by that weird green car, and I've seen it more than once.
What car? You've been followed by a car?
I think you told us about it.
I told you guys about it, yeah.
Car inches forward.
You know, I really thought there was something behind me there for a moment.
Hey, Chuck, maybe we could talk to that FBI guy. Maybe he could help us out with this little issue.
I don't think he provided me any contact information.
Yeah, but you're meeting him tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll bring tar pits.
That's today.
Or actually tonight, yes.
Yeah.
Because it's morning now.
Yeah.
Let's go freshen up, get some sleep, and meet back at the office in a couple hours.
Is that what you're
telling
me?
I am the Fresh Prince.
You smell like death, so.
Might have been the taco fish.
Does that sound good to everyone?
Yeah, I'm totally up for heading home, grabbing a shower, and hanging out until sunset.
Let's do it.
Right, exit police station, and immediately you
get arrested.
Daniel, you recognize a familiar face waiting at the bottom of the steps and flashbulbs go off.
Oh boy!
How about a side profile? Can you turn a little bit?
What do you really need to quit with the whole?
Come on now, this isn't like the Hia I know.
Yeah. Oh, you want to know that Hia? So I'm gonna walk up and slug him.
Oh, all right, go ahead and give me a.
Well, you're staying in jail.
There's a roll of some sort. A slugging roll. Unarmed, right?
Brawl. No, I think it's fighting brawl.
Go ahead and roll that beautiful beam footage. Oh, he easily evades you. You take a swing and you overreach. And he's like this sort of tall, skinny guy, but he's way more dexterous than he looks. And he easily dodges your blow and scampers down the street laughing. See you in the funny papers.
Yeah. Next time I'll hit you. I gave you that one for free, buddy. That was a warning shot.
And he jumps into a familiar green car and races away.
You know, that guy has been following me. I've seen the car. I've seen the flash bulb, but I did not have a face until now.
So he's a paparazzi?
You didn't have a face?
He is, actually. Now that Daniel's got a good look at him and not being blinded by flash bulbs or being chased around, lurked in the dead of night, this is clearly a famous reporter for the Confidential magazine. And his name is Sam Hoskins. And he is pretty much scum of the earth.
What's a stalacromat?
I fixed the spelling error.
Why would he be following you?
Well, I did have two very great words in that film once.
You think he's following you because of your illustrious film career?
Yeah, who wouldn't want to follow me because of my film career?
I don't know.
I am an up-and-coming star.
In porn.
Coming.
Long John Johnson.
Long John Silver. Would you like fish with that?
Snapperoo.
No, not snapper. It's just
No idea why he'd want to tail me, but I've definitely seen him around more than once.
Why don't we flip it on him? Why don't we tail him?
Ooh, now there's a thought.
Let's see what the hell he's doing and who he's reporting to. How much you want to bet it's a couple of police officers?
Ooh, I like that thought train.
Choo-choo, motherfucker.
Except for the fact that we don't have a car because we were dragged away from
Oh, stop.
the mansion.
Stop. You don't need a car.
Back to taxis.
I'll call Uber.
Excuse me, but we use Lyft around here. Please sponsor us.
All right, tell me a story. What you doing?
Chuck?
I get the feeling he's going to be back around. So why don't we head home, grab some sleep, and the next time he shows up, we'll be a little more prepared to deal with him.
All right, sounds good to me. Let's keep an eye open for him.
Just keep looking for that.
Just one, though.
Seafoam green 1953 Chevy 150 Club Coupe.
Coupe.
We're in America. It's a coupe.
I'm with coupe.
It's not chicken coupe. What is it?
That would be terrifying.
All right, so I've heard some plans, but tell me what you're doing.
All right, I'm gonna
Builds.
let's get a cab back to the car, and then we could all go to the office and then disperse from there.
I was just going to call a cab and go right back to my place.
We'll do it then. Son of a bitch.
Fuck you, Daniel.
I'd like to get my coat out of the car before I go home.
So we should probably go get the car.
Yeah, Chuck, will you get us a taxi?
Get us a lift.
Money sacks.
Fine.
We're charging Alfred Hitchcock double for this job.
Money sacks.
What's double of zero? Because I seriously don't think we've charged anyone for anything we've done.
It means you have no friends.
All right.
On tonight's
So
episode
let's go. We'll go back to the car and
All
get
right.
in the car.
While we're there, why don't we just look around real quick?
Because we just got out of jail for a BS trespassing charge.
Okay.
I'd like to go to a lawyer's office.
He's holding on to that one.
I'm just saying,
That's
this seems
Chuck
like the
for you.
nitpicky kind of BS that's going to be right as we're about to make a big breakthrough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Okay, that's great. So Chuck is going to investigate what it takes to acquire a lawyer on retainer, possibly.
Yes.
And Daniel, what are you going to do with your day?
I'm going to hail a cab and hitch a ride back to my apartment so I can clean up, freshen up, and maybe grab a few Z's before we head out to the La Brea Tar Pits.
Few Zimas.
Okay. That's many hours, so you've got many hours to do other things. Sam?
I'm going to have Chuck drop me off at the office, and I'm going to take my bus home and shower and take a nap. Because we didn't sleep all night long.
No, you did. You did. You actually...
The sun was coming up when the police were...
Yeah, you were able to catch a couple hours of sleep. Maybe you not so much, Sam, because you were actually in a much worse situation. But, Chuck and Daniel probably, spooned a little bit in their private cell.
Forts a little
pillows.
It's kind of what they're used to anyways, so, okay. So, Sam, you head back to your place and catch a couple Z's. You're actually none the worse for wear for spending a few hours in jail. It's no big deal. But you are feeling a little unstable. The night really shook you up. I mean, you had to endure a snake that you thought was stuffed and really wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously
woman.
That part you didn't mind. But the humanoid creatures that look much like the gaunts that you've been researching, that really shook you up. And both of those shocks in quick succession has really given you sort of pause about whether or not you should be chasing after this occult stuff.
Like paws?
Paws, like kitten paws, doggy paws. And you do manage to slip into a fitful nap, and it is, of course, filled with writhing snakes and leather-winged creatures swooping down to take you away. And, of course, through it all, because you were the one who got to know her the most, Sarah Wider's pudgy middle-aged face.
That's attractive.
Screaming as it ascends into the night sky, carried by demons.
It's the best dream ever.
But she's probably fine, right?
Right? Well, she's
good
in
now.
peace now. She's with Brophy.
She's in pieces now.
Yep.
Oh,
So sad. You return to your abode, get cleaned up, and of course collapse on the bed. But you, for some reason, you just can't sleep. It won't come to you. You know, right?
Me?
I think I said Daniel, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was
Were we playing a game?
Yeah. I'm playing Car Waiting Simulator 2016. It's riveting.
Right. Did you hear what I said?
Something
I think
about
there was some
wings.
confusion. I thought you were talking to Sam.
I may have accidentally said Sam, so this was actually Daniel.
I think that's the
Daniel-
cause.
Okay.
Yeah, Daniel, you return to your abode and go back to sleep, but it's just not coming. You feel restless.
Okay. So I am going to hop on to my motorcycle and head on over to the offices for the Washington Post. It's a little known fact, but back when Dan was in the war, they had a war reporter embedded with them for some time. And he just so happens to know that that war reporter, whose name I'm making up at the very moment, Harrison Butler, now works for the city section of the Washington Post. And I'm going to go buzz him to see if he knows anything about our paparazzo friend.
All right. He is in the office. Daniel, how are you?
Hey, man. I know this is kind of an odd.
For you, it's
favor
always
to odd favor to ask, but I've been having trouble with a guy
Ladies?
named Sam Hoskins, who's been
Jesus Christ.
kind of following
that
me and my
guy.
friends around.
Yeah, he's a real piece of work guy.
Do you happen to know like where he works or who he works for? I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, everybody knows that. He's a reporter or so-called reporter. That piece of shit rag.
Yeah, I can't figure out why the hell he'd want to follow someone like me around, but he has been buzzing around me like a fly around a several-day-old.
Well, you better be
steak.
careful of that one, because he's on the old commie scare right now, so you don't want to be caught up in that.
Okay. Well, hopefully you get some big stories here soon. I've been hearing that you've been working on a little something, but
Yeah,
Hey, no
well,
close
I'm
up,
trying to
don't
stay
piss
away
him
from
off.
all that. There's this magnet in New York by the name of Trump, and I'm just trying to make sure that he doesn't get his hooks in there. You know, who
I thought he
knows
meant a
what might
literal
happen.
magnet. I'm like, this is not news. It's the 50s. I'm pretty sure we've established
A
magnets.
magnet.
A literal magnet.
What? How do they work?
I think he's kind of a shit magnet myself, but you know, that's just me. I don't want to get political here or anything.
But all our Republican listeners are going to feel alienated.
Do you happen to have an address for the offices for the Continental? By any
Confidential.
Confidential.
Yes. The so-called confidential. It's a rag. It's a yellow paper. Yeah, they're just.
Oh, I thought he meant the information was confidential. I was like, that's a weird thing to keep confidential.
3 doors down. Everybody knows that. Come on, Daniel.
Sorry, it's been a while. Well, thanks for the info, man. Glad to see you again.
Hey, you too. Stop by anytime, man. Just make sure you put my name in the wiki so we can talk more.
I will definitely do that.
He said that?
I don't know why he would do
What the
that.
hell's a wiki?
Wiki, Yuki,
And he turns to
everybody
get back
keys.
to work. He's chewing some tobacco and working on some sort of baseball story. It looks like.
Basketball.
We're playing
It's a really good series. I don't know. It's nice.
Okay, I'm going to head on over
Order
to
for
the
Washington
offices.
Post.
All right. You walk down and there's it's clearly it says the confidential stenciled on there, and it also says back in an hour.
Damn.
But if it says that all the time, they'll never come back.
Maybe that's their game. They just leave an out to lunch sign all the time so no one ever bothers.
Out to lunch.
I'm going to knock on the
lots to
door
get
just
in
to make
there.
sure they're not lying about being out to lunch.
You get no answer.
Crap.
You crap?
Yeah. I'm going to
And then you
leave
look
a
back
bag
and
of smear it all over the door. Okay, I'm just going to keep note of where they are located, and I will return some other time. I'm going to head back to the offices, see if there's anything there I can do while I'm waiting for the meeting tonight.
All right, Chuck. You are able to call the law offices of Hammerstein.
why is he got to be Jewish?
And it's actually an agency that was referred to you by William, your old buddy.
All right.
He just it's something that he recommended quite some time ago, but you just never acted upon it. You found their business card in your Rolodex, or what do they call it?
Wait, I have a roll for that.
Index.
Oh, I got rid of it.
Rolodex. Dang. And so yeah, they're very eager to see you, and they are perturbed that there is such corruption.
Yes. Yeah, very corrupt. Very perturbing.
Why don't you come down to our offices and we'll see if we can hammer out a case for you.
All right. Wait,
So they-
Out a case from Mr. Hammerstein.
Right. So their offices are up in Pasadena. So a little bit of a drive away, but not too bad. And they look pretty, not rinky-dink, but very sort of basic offices. There's nothing fancy about them. They do put out some tea sandwiches for you and offer you coffee, but no booze at all. And they basically talk to you for a couple hours about what happened the last couple days. Why did you get tossed in jail? They make a couple phone calls to judges and police stations, and by the time everything's up, they kind of are not as excited about representing you. They kind of think maybe you're not, you don't have much of a leg to stand on, or very mention of the judge and Manny and Ted Oxley, just sort of put off slightly by that. But they give you a number, and if this ever happens again, call them straight from the police station, and they'll come running.
All right.
For a small retainer, if that's okay.
I have 38 credit rating or something. Bring it on.
Okay. So yeah, for just, I don't know, $100 a month, they'll maintain on retainer.
I guess we can live with that.
Cool. So go ahead and put that in your notes on your character sheet. And Hammerstein, so you have the law offices of Hammerstein for $100 a month. So, Daniel, I think we left you sort of pounding at the door, waiting for lunchtime.
No, I left and I was heading back to the offices.
Okay. You go back to the offices and it's empty.
Lazy bums.
No, they've cleaned out everything. There's nothing. It's empty.
It's gone, McCready.
I feel like we should have got those newfangled locks that Sam couldn't pick.
Right.
And we would have been a little bit safer. Well,
all right.
I am going to, since I didn't shower when I was back at my place, I'm going to once again take advantage of the facilities we have here at the office and clean myself up a bit.
Nice. Gross. All right, you get all cleaned up, and let's fade the scene to sundown. It's time to go meet your buddy. So who's all going along?
I know I am.
I think all of us are going to go.
Okay. All right. So you all pile into Chuck's car, I assume? Tell me the story.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're piling into Chuck's car.
The Chuck wagon, as I like to call it.
You're Chuck.
Oh. Shit.
So Daniel wants Sam to know that Chuck likes to refer to himself in the third person.
Meanwhile, in Chuck's car.
Do you want us to get out with you when you speak with him, or just stay in the car when we get there?
If we can park close enough to keep me in sight, then you guys can just stay in the car.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he did ask to meet just Chuck. If other people show up, he might get spooked.
Scare him off.
All right. So you pull up to the La Brea tar pits. And these, of course, are natural deposits of tarry asphalt, which have been bubbling up in the area of Hancock Park for thousands of years, forming large pools into which many Ice Age creatures lumbered and met their doom. Today, the pits are fenced off to protect the unwary, and the whole place is encompassed by Hancock Park. Scientists scour the pits regularly for well-preserved fossils. In the 50s, large mammal specimens, such as a woolly mammoth, are pulled from the muck to the delight of both the scientific community and the general public. And as the sun is starting to set, you guys pull up, and you see that a lot of visitors are starting to sort of, depart the park. You do see Arroyo's... What do you have? A Coupe de Ville, I think?
Yeah.
Coupe de Ville. Parked out. It is empty.
Right. Let's approach. Do I know where he is? Sorry.
No, you see the Coupe de Ville parked in the parking lot. And, of course, the park is quite big.
I don't think we're going to be able to hang out in the car, boss. I mean, we can tail behind you as best as we can. Or we can just stay put if you want. It's up to you.
Let's do that. Just stay as far back as you can.
Don't fall asleep, boss. You got to talk to this guy.
And try to be out of sight of him.
Okay, why don't we be a couple? Maybe he won't notice us, Danny.
Okay.
The park.
So let's. I guess
right.
we'll tail him if we can. We'll find some sort of bench and just kind of sit and.
Great. How many feet behind him will you tail him?
Oh, probably what, 40 feet or so, 30 feet?
I'd say 40 feet is probably a good distance.
Yeah.
40
The
feet.
pissing distance.
That's 4 pissing distances.
Pissing distance. Okay. So, Chuck, you stride into the entrance to the park. You pass a mother who's rounding up her 2 young boys who are both wearing Davy Crockett coonskin caps and shooting madly at one another with wooden pop guns. Sam and Daniel, you pass a young couple. The girl is wearing her boyfriend's varsity jacket, and she kind of looks knowingly at Sam as they pass. And they are clearly headed for a convertible Buick Skylark parked nearby.
Ooh.
And as you enter the park, are just taken by the immense park is. And, you know, the sun's going down, so there's shadows all around. And nearby there's the tar pits are sort of like bubbling up, almost like a alien landscape with asphalt sort of spewing into the air occasionally as the bubbles pop. And there is, a little bit of a scent in the air that is sort of like a combination of old engine oil and rotting flesh.
Yummy.
And Chuck, you immediately spot Mitchell Arroyo. He's on a bench near one of the pools.
All right, I shall approach him.
Okay. As you come up, he kind of looks at you and looks around a little bit. He says, "Walk with me."
Okay.
He starts walking, and he's clearly.
Don't walk with him.
All right, and he starts talking. He says, "Listen, you people are new to Lenoir's little club. Before you get in too deep, you need to know a few things. I'm in pretty deep, and things are getting really weird, even for this set. But you're new. I figure the others are too scared or too self-centered to share what they know, and don't expect any help from the local law. Most of the cops around here are a little more than thugs play acting at being the good guys."
Shocking.
Mm-hmm. They line their pockets with graft and hope nobody notices while they preen and pose like they're on some network show playing honest cops. They're pretty lousy actors, if you ask me.
I agree.
Anyway, you should know a few things, especially after what happened last night. Then you can decide how deep you want to get. All right.
Okay.
Eat all kinds of stuff here.
Matt, get ready on the wiki. Things about to go down.
Things about to go down. All right, so
fingers are ready to work.
As I mentioned, I work for the FBI, and I joined the Church of Night for one thing, and that's to investigate Clark Richards. I'm pretty sure he's a commie. And, as I was investigating, I found out that he was already a member of the occult. And, I think he's up to no good. So I noticed, too, that, each of these other celebrities sort of popping in for their own reasons and not just, an interest in the occult, but I think they have their own designs. I'm not sure who who might be a commie, but for sure I think Clark Richards is. So he's the one I'm after. There was another celebrity who was a member for a little while, but she got booted out. Her name was Jean St. Jane.
Yeah.
And you know what? She was a weird bird. She was even more different than Lenoir. She was like, I don't know. She really seemed to demonstrate spectacular occult powers.
She seemed dangerous.
I don't know. I can't decide. I mean, you had to see it to believe it. She has a certain air about her.
Do you think she is a danger to people, though?
Well, not in the traditional sense. No, it's weird. Before she got kicked out, she broke some sort of rule, some sort of church rule. And I think she brought her boyfriend along. She tried to summon something and succeeded. And Lenoir jumped in with these crazy chants, like chanting against her or something. I don't know. And it must have distracted the thing that she summoned, and it broke free of her control or something. And he grabbed her boyfriend and then just sort of shimmered out of sight.
That could be a problem.
Look, I know it's crazy. Especially what we saw the other night. I can't really say anything because my superiors wouldn't believe any of this, and they might relieve me of my job, and that would, be a bad news for my investigation into the commies.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good news, that's for sure.
And as he speaks, you happen to notice there's like this old Mexican woman. She has like dressed in a poncho, traditional garb, and she has a large, giant reed basket strapped to her back. She seems really odd.
No.
And she's sort of coming to
early Noir, no home.
She looks like she's about 100 years old. Why don't you give me a spot hidden, Chuck? That looks pretty good. That's a success. So it's very strange. Two things you notice. She sort of smiles up at you, and her mouth is just got no teeth in it at all.
Yum.
So, and her basket, the reed basket, appears to be full of
teeth.
The tar from the pits that you're passing. It's like obviously the gooey black liquid. That's
I'm not positive, but I don't think you're supposed to take that.
Stop in the name of dinosaurs?
Bill.
Bill. And as you pass her and she passes you, she continues to smile. At this point, Chuck or Daniel and Sam, you also see this. Just a little old lady, a wizened, and she's like just sort of hobbling and carrying this heavy basket on her back, and she's smiling up at Chuck, and then she reaches out her hands, and her arms unnaturally elongate, and she grasps Agent Arroyo, and she lifts him up, basket in her back.
Oh, shit.
And you hear a bubbling, sizzling sound as he inexorably slides into the black sludge. And she starts cackling madly.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
God damn it.
We came up with a name for your Mexican woman.
Is it taco fish?
That should have been.
Taco
fish. All right.
Holy crap.
All right. Is that a good place to stop?
Yeah.
No, but yes.
Anybody else want to go swimming?
No, but yes.
Well.
All right. So we're going to move on to our recommendos section. And let's start off with Brian.
Okay, now I'm about probably 7 or 8 years late on this train. But
Choo choo, motherfuckers.
I just started using Reddit. And I am addicted to this. So I use Relay, which is a great app.
I do too.
Matt suggested it for me. It just cuts out all the junk.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice. and it's streamlined, and your categories are nicely labeled, and you can look at exactly what you want to look at without all the noise filtering in.
I paid for the pro version of that app, and I do not regret it one bit.
Thank you very much. There's hours of my life gone.
Welcome to the cult of Reddit.
So if you haven't heard of Reddit,
yeah. Well, I'm in the same boat, Brian, because for years I didn't really care.
Right.
But now I'm like, able to pick which Reddits which channels I'm able to follow, and I'm using Relay on my phone, but I'm using Redditor on in my browser.
Okay.
I like it because it's a lot like Hootsuite, where you have columns that you can follow each of the individual channels that you're following, and it's just kind of a cool way to go about it. So I like it too.
And it's surprisingly mostly positive stuff goes up on this.
Yeah.
And in this day and age, you kind of need a little bit of positivity. So
it's because you got there after they started filtering R the Donald.
Oh, yeah. No, I saw some of those before they started to do that.
Yeah. All right.
You have it bad when you get off your computer from browsing Reddit, go to the bathroom, sit down, pull out your phone, and open Reddit and wonder what's true.
I would never do that. I would never.
Yeah.
Do
I do it on a daily basis. It's a serious problem.
Don't belong in the bathroom. Sorry.
You dip your phone in your shit?
Ugh. All right, Matt, how about you, buddy? What's your recommendo?
This week I am recommending a really awesome game called Stardew Valley. It is a spiritual successor to the Harvest Moon series, if you're familiar with that. It's a really, really great game, beautiful pixel art game, and the whole thing has been developed by one guy over several years now, and he's done a fantastic job with this thing. It is incredibly addicting if you were ever into any of the Harvest Moon or farming type games.
And if we weren't, what's the gist?
In Stardew Valley, you play a character who has decided to move away from the city and stop working. So you take over your grandfather's farm in the village, in the valley of Stardew Valley, and it's not just you. It's you tending to your crops and growing your farm, and you can get animals. And you can, grow trees for orchards, but there's also an underlying hidden story behind the whole thing that you kind of slowly discover as you integrate your way into the community there.
Cool. All right, George, how about you?
I got new headphones for my Xbox. Astro A40s.
Nice.
Work with PC too, but not this exact version because it comes with a little mixer that you plug into your Xbox One controller. Audio volume and game volume, and they were pretty reasonably priced. I think I paid $150, and the sound quality is good, and they're just ridiculously comfortable. They're so comfortable, and that was worth every dime right there.
Do you watch movies and stuff too on your Xbox using that?
I don't use headphones for them.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd want to do that because I watch like zombie movies, and you don't want the volume up all the way, and the wife's trying to sleep and whatnot. So.
Yeah, my wife, I just make her stay up.
Honey, come look at this. His head's getting ripped right off.
Right after you make me that sandwich.
Oh, and then we see why
this went too far.
That's enough. That's enough. All right, I have sort of a weird recommendation this week. Google just came out with a new app called Trusted Contacts. And this is something that I've been wanting Google to come out with for a while because they already have location services built into your phone, that sort of thing. And what this does is it allows you to select certain contacts from your very trusted contacts. So I have Brian and I have Juliet, my wife. And essentially what it is it allows them to request my location or my phone's location at any time. So let's say I'm driving to Detroit 2.5 hours and I'm an hour late to Brian's house. He could request a location from me because maybe he's worried about me. It's a snowstorm. It's the middle of winter. And if I don't respond in a certain time, then it will automatically send a location to him to let him know where I am. And so, this is a good safety app, I think, because you want to alert certain people if things aren't going well or if you're worried about somebody. So if, I'm worried about Juliet, if she travels out of the state or whatever, I can sort of keep tabs on her, and she can basically respond back that she's safe and that sort of thing. So it's called Google Trusted Contacts. It was actually released, I think, today or yesterday, and it's a worthwhile app. It's just a quick little thing and keeps people safe, which I'm all about. So
I see girlfriends installing this secretly on their boyfriends' phones all across the nation.
Well, it won't send the location. So what happens is I get a prompt if a location is being requested, and I can say forget about it. Okay. I can deny it if I want to.
Oh, okay.
So that's always an option, but it's more like really trusted really trusted contacts. If you're not up to any shenanigans or whatnot. But anyways, check that out if you're at all interested. I think it's a worthwhile app. So
awesome.
Yep. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Lovecraft Tapes. Thank you for listening. Feel free to send comments to podcast@thelovecrafttapes.com. Please subscribe on iTunes, Google Music, Stitcher, or anywhere you download your regular podcasts. The shower or the bathroom like Matt does. If you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you don't like what you hear, get bent. Meanwhile, you can find us at thelovecrafttapes.com and on Twitter at lovecrafttapes. Also interact with us on reddit.com/r/thelovecrafttapes. You can find my fiction, which is mostly horror fiction, on Amazon. Just search for Jeremy E. Johnson or Sheila Helsing Demon Huntress. I'm also on Twitter at Boomstick
And for continuing stories on the development of Car Waiting Simulator 2016, follow me on Twitter at TheRealWeirdKid.
And you can find me on Twitter at Sam_Brewster2.
It's an audio podcast, Church.
Yeah.
All right.
Mom.
Mama. All right, that's going to do it for us. We thank you for watching and listening. Have a good evening. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Goodbye. All right. Go ahead and stop your Audacity. Export that. And get that shit to me. This is episode 14. Exporting, and I'm going to stop the broadcast.